Could we acknowledge ourselves for showing up today? We'll just come on, Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming today, because I don't know about you, but I need to hear some truth. What I'm talking about. I know you're trying to be spiritual, but it probably was a couple of people you wanted to take out this week. I can just feel it, but you didn't do it because you're so spiritual. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I am thankful, thankful, thankful. Let's see. I need to hear something. Let's see. So are we going to be here for each other?
Yes.
Yeah. You willing to say you'll be there?
Yes.
You will. Now remember last week, I'm going to continue and finish up last week's lesson, which is all things are lessons that God or love would have me learn. So I'm going to start off with the thought that we were supposed to say whenever we get upset. I'm telling you the truth about yourself right now. It says, I will forgive and I will see things differently. I will forgive and I will see things differently. I will forgive and I will see things differently. I will forgive and I will see things differently and breathe. Oh yeah. All things are lessons God would have me learn. All things are lessons God would have me learn. Say, all things are lessons God would have me learn. All things are lessons God would have me. Say what? All things are lessons God would have me learn. All things are even that God would have me learn. I will forgive and I will see things differently. I will forgive and I will see things differently. Don't forget that you need not believe the ideas. Don't forget that you need not believe the ideas. Don't forget that you need not accept the ideas. Don't forget that you need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist, and some of the ideas you may actively resist, but if you use it, you will see that it works. If you use it, you will see that it works. If you use it, you will see that it works. If you use it, you will see that it works. If you use it, you will see that it will work. I will forgive, and I will see them differently. I will forgive, and I will see them differently. I will forgive, and I will see them differently. I will forgive. Come on now. I will forgive, and I will see things differently. I will forgive, and I will see things differently before I take someone out. It's time for some love, it's time for some love. I'm ready for some love, 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 I'm ready for some love. Are you ready? Are you tired of the conflict? Are you tired of the chaos? And tell yourself, I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. For yourself, I am sustained by the love of God. We are sustained by the love of God. Woo! I love spiritual music. I do. All right. How y'all doing? All right. Happy pre-Valentine's Day. All right. Think about how many people over the years that you've been with on Valentine's Day. You don't want to think about that, do you? I think we'll pass that by. That's right. You're going to love each other forever and ever, weren't you? Yeah. Then you told yourself that main thing that people say, even if we break up, we gonna still be friends. You know how you say that when you say that? Yeah, we gonna still be close to each other even if we break up. Now you see them cross Colfax Avenue and you want to run over them.
They want to run over you.
Or they want to run over you. You better be careful crossing these intersections the next few days. That's all I got to say. No, but I know there are those of you that doesn't apply to at all. You have the relationships that you've always dreamed of, and it's beautiful, everything, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm happy for you, really.
What drugs are you on?
I'm on the drug of life, brother.
No, I mean the people that are happy forever.
Well, the ones that are really happy are applying the truth to their lives all the time.
Yeah.
The ones who are really having peace are the ones who are thinking the opposite to the way that people think and don't. That's the interesting part about it. So, we're going to be on lesson 183. I want to finish the lesson that I started last week about all things are lessons that life or God would have me learn. And the first thing we heard now, if you're here for the first time, I just want to tell you that the only guidelines to the Course in Miracles class, if you're here for the first time, is that you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. Some of it's going to be hard to believe, and some of it's going to be quite startling. That we are here to hear something different from what we've been taught and what we have normally been taught to believe. So this is not a class where you hear normal things. If you're looking to hear normal things, you're in the wrong place. You might need to slip on out right now, because I'm not going to talk normal. I'm going to talk like you are loved. I'm going to talk like you are lovable. And I'm going to talk like you are totally innocent. And I'm going to talk like you're totally powerful. And I'm going to talk like you're not alone. And I'm going to talk like you're the creator of your experience and you're not a victim of the world you see. I'm going to talk like you are a spiritual being and not a physical body, human only. I'm going to talk to you like you're a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm going to talk to you like you're not your race, that you're not your gender, that you're not your ethnicity. I'm going to talk to you as if you're this incredibly sensational treasure that you may have forgotten that you are. That's the way I'm going to talk. If you don't like it, that's your problem. Because I don't hear enough of that in the world. And so I'm not going to be here and talk about the world the way the world talks about the world. I'm going to be here saying something that's very different. For instance, I'm going to continue on lesson 193 in the workbook that's called All Things Are Lessons God Would Have Me Learn. Those of you watching online live, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to check in with your mighty companions. I was hoping I would be able to monitor you on my phone, but it looks like it's not cooperating like I would like. I can see it's happening, but I want to be able to say something to you, but I'll talk to you. Anyway, so it starts off, I'm going to do a quick review. It starts off by saying that the first decision that you need to make in order to handle the lessons that life seems to present to you well is to get clear about what it is that your Creator wills for you, what it is that God wills for you, what it is that the universe wills for you. And it says that what your Creator wills for you is that all the happiness that you have inherited from your Creator remains undisturbed, eternal, forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joyful creation, eternally open and totally limitless. That your happiness is undisturbed, eternal, forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in joy, eternally open and totally limitless. That is what love wills for us. That which created us wants us to have a happiness that is always, never ends, only expands, and gives us nothing but joy.
Woo.
Yeah.
So we gotta first make the decision that our Creator is not a creator of fear. That the Creator is not a God of fear. I learned a God of fear as a child.
That's right.
That it was all about fear God. You know. And so that core belief is in many people. And so as a result of that, they are motivated by fear. Because if you're going to be afraid of that which created you, you're going to start extending that into every area of your life, and you're just afraid of everything. So we're going to make the choice that that which created us loves us and only wants us to be happy. Now, the next question becomes, well, why am I not experiencing that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's easy to answer. You.
I don't like that answer.
I know. Because I'd much rather say it. I like the idea of you, but from the context of you, not the context I just said it, which was me. So that means that we are not seeing something correctly, so we need a guide in how to see things correctly. We need a guide in how to see things differently. And that's our own internal guide. And our internal guide is called the Holy Spirit in A Course in Miracles. So when it says Holy Spirit, it's not talking about something outside of you. It's talking about the spiritual guidance that's within you that we all have. So I'm not directing you outside. I'm directing you inside. And when I say inside, I'm not talking about I'm directing you inside your body. Because we tend to think of inside as our body. So God in spirit isn't located between your stomach and your spleen. Guys, God is not in your scrotum. Even though you've probably yelled out God a lot of times. Okay, now. God is inside your consciousness, inside your mind, inside your being. Your God is inside your being. Your consciousness is what you are. Spirit is what you are. Mind is what you are. Your body is inside your mind. Your mind isn't inside your body. Your body is inside your mind. Think of you as a large circle and then the dot in the center is your body. And the way you think impacts your body. This is your body. The way you think is impacting your body. Y'all see that? The big circle of being, and the way you think is going inward and impacting your body. So your anger, your guilt, your grievances affect your physical health. Resentment affects your physical health. Okay? So all of those fearful, negative, angry thoughts that people carry around is affecting their physical health. So what we need to do is have a mind that's so centered in love and consciousness and freedom that what's impacting your body is love. Okay? So the truth is, we need someone to teach us that we're innocent, because in our innocence we'll stop attacking ourselves. And these are the lessons that your Creator wants you to learn. That you're innocent, not that you're guilty. Now the part of you that believes you're guilty is going to tune out of this class. Okay, the part of you that doesn't want to hear a man say something to you that's totally loving for an hour, or actually less than that, is going to daydream. It's going to drift. It's going to think about what you're going to be doing later. It's going to be thinking about what you're upset about. It's going to try to distract you from hearing the loving things that I have to say to you today. The cool thing about it is, truth is eternal, which means that when you're ready for it, it'll be waiting for you. But in the meantime, you're suffering needlessly. So we're not wasting time. Time is wasting us. So that means every lesson that you have that comes from the universe or God reflects this lesson that you're innocent. So every lesson that you go through in your life every day has one central thought. No matter what the situation is that you're going through, it's just the appearance that's changed. It looks like it's a lesson you're going through at work, a lesson you're going through with your pain, a lesson you're going through in your health or your financial situation. But all of these lessons have exactly the same thought, the same message, which is forgive and you will see this differently. This is part 2. I talked about it last week some. Now, when I say forgive, I mean correctly interpret the situation and you will see this differently. When I say forgive, I'm not talking about you overlooking what someone or something did to you. That I'm asking you to forgive something that really happened to you that was caused by someone else. The Course in Miracles definition of forgiveness is true perception, having correct perception. So when I forgive you, I'm saying I have the correct perception of you. When I forgive you, it means I have an interpretation of you or the situation that gives me peace or gives me more peace. Everybody still following along?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it looks like all your distress does not appear to be unforgiveness. Whatever it is that's distressing you right now, in whatever area of your life you feel distressed, it doesn't look like it's just an unforgiveness. Your financial situation, if it's causing you strife, is a reflection of some unforgiveness going on in your mind. If you have a relationship and you're going through a lot of distress in that relationship, it's some form of unforgiveness that's going on in your mind. If you have a health situation that's challenging you, there's some form of unforgiveness going on in your mind. Wherever you have a lack of peace, it's a form of unforgiveness. That's the central thing that the Course in Miracles is trying to teach us today, is that, and it says, it doesn't look like it, it doesn't appear to be that. And what would unforgiveness be? If forgiveness is the correct perception, unforgiveness would be what? An incorrect perception. So when I say that no matter what the problem is, it's rooted in some type of incorrect perception. So let's talk about perception. What is perception? Perception is interpretation. Perception is learning. So, let's break it down. When I say that I have a misperception of you, I'm saying I have a misinterpretation of you. So, all distress is some form of misperception. All distress is some form of incorrect interpretation of what's happening. Okay. I would like you to take a collective breath so you won't fall out. I know you're not supposed to be able to hold your breath more than a couple of minutes, but I've seen people in my class do it for an hour. Did y'all notice the deathly silence?
Yeah.
It was like, it's more than what? Why? Because a part of you resonates with what you're hearing, despite what you've been taught. And also, I would even venture to say, it actually made sense. That's really amazing. Because the Course in Miracles teaches that we are sane people who have learned insane things. That from the time we were born, we were taught stuff that's simply not true. And it's crazy. And in your heart of hearts, you know that's true. In your heart of hearts, you know we're not supposed to have the kind of fear and chaos we're going through. In your heart of hearts, you know you deserve to be happy. Your life should be more harmonious and easier. In your heart of heart, you know you should be having loving relationships and you shouldn't be worried about abundance. You know that. We all know that in our heart of hearts. So the Course in Miracles says that no one can hide forever from a truth so very obvious that it appears in countless forms, that you can recognize as easily in all the forms, if you want to see the simple lesson. So, what's the simple lesson? Forgive, and you will see this differently. Correctly perceive, and you will see this differently. These are the words that the Holy Spirit speaks. These are the words that your inner guide, that we all have, tells you. I know you're upset about this situation that's going on right now, but if you were to correctly interpret it, you would see this differently. And you see it in a way that gave you more peace. What's the advantage in seeing something in a way that gives you more peace? When you have peace, you can hear the voice of your inner guide. You are being guided by your higher self, your higher power, all day long and all night. People say they don't hear the voice for God. Why don't I hear this guide that I hear you talking about? It's a very simple reason that the Course says why you don't hear your inner guide. You're listening to yourself. Isn't that too simple? Because you know you're doing it. You're doing it right now. You're talking to yourself even as I talk to you. You know you are. Admit it. Even as I'm talking, you're going. The Course in Miracles says that's why you don't hear the voice for God. You're listening to you. Then it says the voice for God, or the voice for your true self, for spirit, is only as loud as your willingness to listen to it. So that I'm no more loud to you as I speak than your willingness to listen to me. In other words, someone is not listening to me right now, they don't hear me right now, even though I'm talking. If you're thinking about what's going to happen this evening, I'm talking, but you don't hear me. Is that not true? Well, God's talking to you and you don't hear God either, for the same reason. So I think listening to God is the same as me just sitting up here being quiet. Okay, then I'm not going to say it to myself. I still don't hear nothing. I'm hearing myself say I don't hear nothing. I'm still listening to what I'm telling myself. Love never gives up on you. That's why you can relax. You've been used to probably being in relationships that you were not loved in. So the love was temporary. It was conditional. But God's love, real love, isn't conditional. It's infinitely patient. It will always be there whenever you're ready for it. But why should you suffer in that interval of time before you make yourself ready for it? You don't deserve happiness in the future. That's what people have who are punishing themselves. Because there's got to be the interval that you experience before you have the happiness in the future. See, let's picture my fist as the future. Okay, I'm going to have happiness in the future. Well, I got this whole period right here of no happiness. So stop asking for happiness in the future.
That's right.
It hints that you need to be punished until then. This is scary. It makes so much sense, don't it?
Yes.
So we are sane beings who don't hear sane things. And the insane part of you doesn't want you to hear this. And even though this might make sense to you, and you feel inspired, and you know it's true, I may not ever see you again. You may come up and give me the biggest hug, hopefully, and say, this class, I hear it all the time. This was so helpful. This was so powerful. It solved the problems I think I have. I'm committed. I want to join with this. I want to open myself up to it. Never see them again. All the time. There is a part of you that is out to get you. You know it is, because you've experienced the result of that part of you, which is the distress that you're going through. It's not coming arbitrarily. It's coming from the part of you, of your mind, that is unforgiving, that is not seeing correctly. So the reason why you want a correct interpretation of things is so that you can have peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, your own internal guidance will say, go here, go there, call them, move there, go over here, do this right here, to have what it is that would give you the greatest amount of peace. You're being instructed all the time. As soon as you saw that gal you were attracted to, your inner guide said, no! All you heard was, damn, she hot. That's what I heard. A bunch of times. I was at a gathering the other day called the effing Unicorn Party. That was the name of it. It was awesome at the Oriental Theater. And it was like beautiful people overload. And I kept telling myself, this person is not their body. That person is not their body. That one over there is not their body. And it was amazing. I was sitting in the corner, just sitting down, cooling out. I've been going through really powerful inner transformations that have been very intense for me. And I just needed to be in a place surrounded by love with cool, uninhibited people who wasn't hung up about stuff, and they appreciated themselves, and they wanted to have fun, they wanted to join, they wanted to experience their individuality, they didn't care about what society thought. So the Holy Spirit attracted me there. And I was sitting there, and it was amazing how many people walked up to me and struck up a conversation. They were very loving and just gave me hugs without even saying anything, and walk up to me and say, wow, I just felt, you feel like you got a really cool energy. I want to sit down and talk to you for a while. It was so refreshing to be around brothers and sisters who weren't afraid. They do exist. But I wouldn't have been there if I had been narrow-minded and closed-minded. I had to be open-minded myself to be around open-minded people. I had to let go of my ideas about what people should act like. And then I was shown there's another way to be. So I'm telling you, the kind of people that you dream of do exist. They're all around you, but you won't see them until you become like that yourself. That's the price of admission, is you have to be loving to be around other people that are being loving. Or else you mess up the whole thing. Everybody's having a good time till you walk in. Right? Everybody's accepting each other, loving each other, letting each other be, not judging each other about how they look, how they're dressing, how they're being. And then you walk in. And you walk in with all the judgments and prejudices that you've learned since you were a child. And you immediately start judging everybody that you're looking at. How they dress, how they act, how they should be acting, how they should be. They're too skimpy in their clothes. They da-da-da-da-da-da. And your vibration is so low that you'll probably leave And then you hear this tremendous applause as you walk toward your car. And you don't know why. So your judgment just locks you up around other judgmental people.
That's right.
And all of a sudden you're surrounded by no one you can be yourself with. And you know when you've done that because you will be surrounded by friends and relatives that you hide most of your true beliefs. And your truth, they don't even know who you really are because you're afraid of being judged. You hide yourself. You get in a new relationship, be afraid to bring your partner to this class. Because you don't think you're weird. You are weird. That's the cool thing about you. They need to see your weirdness. And then who would want to be in a relationship with someone that they had to hide themselves from anyway? Unless you were ashamed of yourself. Mm. 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 So it says, so I got a healing that night. I needed it. I had a call for love. And I don't always feel good. And my inner voice sometimes tells me things that make me feel sad and unloved. But I'm smart enough now to know what to do about it. I know to join with those who give love and acknowledgement and appreciation because that's just the natural way they are. I didn't have to go home with anybody. So there was nothing for me to get that night. There was nobody for me to get. I'm no longer a seeker, I'm a finder. When you're a seeker, to stay a seeker, you have to keep pushing away what you're trying to find so you can keep seeking it. If you're in love with seeking, you'll never let yourself have it so you can keep seeking. So I'm not a seeker, I'm a finder. How can you recognize a finder? A finder is someone who's expressing gratitude. Because you can't be grateful for what you don't have. So the more grateful you are a finder. And finders live in a different world than seekers. They don't even recognize each other. That's your protection. That's right. So the Course in Miracles says, forgive and you will see this differently. These are the words that your loving spirit speaks in all your tribulations. Forgive and you will see this differently. All your pain, forgive and you will see this differently. All your suffering, regardless of its form, forgive, correctly perceive, and you will see this differently. Okay, well, what is the correct perception? The correct perception is what your spiritual practice reveals to you. So, for instance, my spiritual practice is a Course in Miracles. So when I study the Course in Miracles, it's full of new interpretations for me to use that would give me more peace. That's why I study. So that I can get the new interpretations that will give me the peace that would allow me to hear God. It's not something you can do on your own. You can't make it up as you go along. Then it says, forgive and you will see this differently. These are the words with which what ends? Temptation and guilt. Abandon. So how do you abandon temptation and guilt? You stop revering guilt. You stop revering it. You stop being proud about how guilty you feel about everything. Because you feel guilty, it just makes you continue to do the thing you feel guilty about. Tell me what you feel guilty about, and I'll tell you what you're going to do again. Think about how many things you felt guilty about, you do again. Because the guilt tells you that just because you felt guilty, that was the reconciliation of it. So now you can go back and do it again. Because at least you felt guilty about it. So guilt is just a permission to go back and do it again.
Wow.
So these are the words which end the dream of sin. Isn't that an interesting term? Dream of sin. Yeah, you're not really sinful. You're making it up that you are, so it's a dream. Because a dream is something that you make up that's not really real. So you've made up, when I say you made up, I'm just talking generically. It says that when you are dreaming that you're sinful, when you think you're guilty, when you think you're not enough, you can tell because you will have a mind full of fear. I wouldn't be so afraid of something happening to me if I really thought I was totally innocent. Why is life maybe going to get me? There's got to be something in me that believes I deserve to be gotten. Why am I so afraid? I think I'm in danger. If I think I'm in danger, I'm creating danger for myself. So it says, these are the words by which salvation, which is healing, comes to all the world. What are the words? I will forgive, correctly perceive, and I will see this differently. Now, shall we not learn to say these words, what? Forgive and I will see this differently, when we're tempted to believe that pain is real. Have you ever been tempted to believe that pain is real? Have you been tempted to believe that death sometimes seems to become your choice instead of life? Shall we not learn to say these words? What words? I will forgive and I will see this differently. When we understood their power to release all minds from bondage. When will I start using the instructions that I'm given? I will start to use the instructions that I'm given when I understand that these words have the power to release me from everything that limits me. How can I tell if a person is beginning to believe the spiritual path that they're on? When they tell me, when they're in distress, that they're getting ready to use something that they've learned from the spiritual path that they're on. So in other words, I would go, oh my God, I feel distressed right now. What did the Course in Miracles tell me to say when I'm in distress? Oh, forgive and you will see this differently. Until that becomes my response, the Course in Miracles is not my practice that I'm using. And you can apply that to whatever your practice is. Until it becomes your first response to temptation, you are not using your path. If your first response is not what your path tells you, you're not really on your path. So ask yourself, when I'm upset, is it the first thing I tell myself is something that I say to myself that my spiritual practice is teaching me? Or do I do it the way that I've always done it, which is to say something to somebody outside of me needs to change or be different, and then I'll be happy? Then it says, these are the words that will give you power over all events that seem to have been given power over you. If you're going through events in your life that seem like they have power over you, these are the words that will give you power over those events. I will forgive and I will see this differently. You're going to see all the events that cause you any kind of problem rightly when you hold these words how? In full awareness. In other words, I am going to hold in complete awareness that if I correctly perceive this, I'm going to see this differently. If I see this differently, I'm going to have more peace. If I have more peace, I can hear my inner guide. My inner guide is going to tell me what to do in this situation, then I will do what my inner guide is telling me to do and watch my perception of the whole situation get healed. Notice I'm directing you into you. I'm not trying to become your leader. It's too slow. Because I believe this, so I want to go ahead and do it. If I was trying to lead you, I have to get your cooperation. That'd be too slow. First of all, you wouldn't trust me. Right? Because, some people just immediately don't trust anybody who's trying to tell them what to do or trying to give them any answers that they didn't think of. Because this is the nature of being an adult, is you make all your own choices and decisions and you come up with your own answers. So the mere fact that another person would try to tell you an answer gets resistance just from the very beginning. Because adults tend not to want answers that they didn't think of. So the mere fact that something would give us an answer and we didn't think of it, the Course in Miracles and Truth book say, you won't even want to listen to it just because you didn't think of it, even though it would save you. So it's too slow. So no conscious being is trying to control or try to have a cult or try to have anybody. It's too slow. Because I can accept, I forgive, and I will see this differently. I can use it the rest of the day, transform my perception, get my guidance, and have a good time. But if I was trying to control you and get you to believe it and get you to go along with me, or I need your approval before I would do it, that would slow me down. Your only responsibility is to accept the truth for yourself. Forget about everybody else. If you accept it for yourself, that's the greatest gift you can give to everybody else. If I'm happy, then that's one less person for you to worry about getting mugged by. So you should pray for the happiness of everybody you know, especially the people you're in special relationships with. This makes so much sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So it goes on to say, and I'm going to throw it open in a minute for, Okay. You see them rightly when you hold these words how? In full awareness. That means don't forget these words apply to everything you see, and that these words apply to anybody you're looking at incorrectly. To everything I see, if I forgive, if I correctly perceive this, I will see it differently. If I correctly perceive you, I will see you differently. How can I tell when I'm correctly perceiving you? When I'm correctly perceiving you, I feel some form of peace. So as long as like I had a situation come up and I watched my ego try to go into judgment about someone this morning. I saw it. It was like trying to come up with reasons for me to feel separate. And I caught myself the way that I always try to catch myself, which is the easiest way to catch yourself when your ego is getting ready to take over. You want to know what that is?
Yeah.
It's how you feel. I didn't like how I felt. It wasn't making me feel good. That's how I knew I was telling myself a bunch of crap. That's just, don't make it more complicated than that. If you feel like crap, you're telling yourself crap. Okay? Don't make it complex. Don't make it complex. Well, why am I feeling crap? When did the crap start? Did the crap start when I was a kid? Or did the crap start when I was 10 years old? Did it start in the North part of the United States? Or was it the crap I went through when I lived in the South? It's like, forget all of that and go, I feel like crap. I must be seeing something incorrectly. I need another way to look at this. Let go of the analytical part of the mind and start paying attention to your feelings. Your feelings are your one right use of judgment, because your feelings always take you back to what you believe. That's why they're so cool. You can tell yourself anything, but your feelings, they don't lie. They don't lie about what you're telling yourself, even though your feelings might be lying about what's actually going on. But they'll never lie as far as what you're telling yourself. See the subtle difference in that? Mm-hmm. You know, if I got anger towards you and you didn't do anything to me really, but I'm feeling anger, but my feelings are letting me know that I have a misperception of some type. So my feelings never lie. Because if I'm centered, I'm going to feel more peace. So then the Course in Miracles says, how can you tell when you are seeing wrong? How can you tell when you are seeing wrong? Well, if you see the tax squad in front of your house, how can you tell when someone else is failing the lesson they should learn? How can you tell when you are seeing incorrectly? How can you tell when someone else is seeing incorrectly? Well, these are questions you ask yourself. Does pain seem real in my perception right now? Am I hurt? How can you tell when you're seeing wrong? If there is pain and it seems real to you, be sure the lesson is not learned. So how can I tell when I'm seeing incorrectly? Pain seems real to me. Separation, anger, guilt seems real to me. And how can I tell if I'm talking to somebody and they're not seeing correctly? They are talking about the pain that they're going through and what they're hurt about. Now, I know you can come up with a lot of situations that it seems justified to feel pain. Right? Right. You know, and that's what's so cool, because when you see yourself trying to come up with all the reasons to justify your pain, now you see why you have pain. Because to justify it is your approving of it and saying, okay, I'm willing to keep this going. I see a good reason to go through this. And so I'll keep on having it. So as soon as you start defending pain, you're asking for it. A person that says no pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. Okay, then you ask them, do you want to gain in your life? They go, yes, I want to gain in my life. Then they go through pain. And they don't know why. Well, you believe that you can't gain without pain. So you're ordering pain with every gain. So then you get the relationship you wanted to gain and it's full of pain. You get the job you wanted to gain and it's full of pain later. But we don't see the connection. You have a core belief that struggle is the way to achieve. So then anything you try to achieve then becomes a struggle. And you don't know where the struggle is coming from. It's coming from your belief. Because your belief makes your reality as an unlimited creator. You are a creator. You create through your thoughts. Your thoughts create what happened to you. But not just your conscious thoughts, your unconscious thoughts do too. So you don't realize, many people don't realize what they are experiencing and drawing to themselves in their life is originating in their own consciousness, in their own mind. Because it's easier to blame others for what you're going through than to take responsibility for the way that you feel. It's easy for me to say if my dad had been different, I'd be happy right now. It'd be easy for me to say if I wasn't black, things would be a lot easier right now, but that's true. No, it's not true. I chose my black suit. This body was my choice. Nobody forced me into a black male body. I made that decision before I was born, and you made yours too. That's startling. You're not here just because two people got together and did the wild thing. And you just showed up. You showed up because you wanted to show up, and you showed up to the parents you wanted to show up to, and the family you wanted to show up in, and the social economic condition that you were born in, and it was all pre-planned for your spiritual awakening. And deep in your soul, you know that's true. No matter how hard you try to pretend, you don't. Because some of you, from the day you were born, felt like you were an alien here. And you know who you are, because you're like me. I couldn't buy into it from the time I was a child, and I thought people were crazy because it didn't make any sense. And there are a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you wouldn't buy into the religious beliefs you were given. You wouldn't buy into any. You were rebellious from day one because you wanted to live. And you didn't want to go into the mass hypnosis and the mesmerism that most people are in right now. Most parts of us are not people. They're sheeples. They just follow along with the program. Whatever anybody says, that's what they do. You aren't one of those people. That's why you're listening to this strange black man. That's your proof, in case you were wondering. That you even listening to me at all means you're not normal. And I love you for that. I can breathe around you. So, how can you tell when you're not seeing things correctly? There's pain in your perception. How you can tell when the other person's not seeing things correctly? There's pain in their perception. And so he says, so what does that mean? He says, well, if it be sure, it means be sure that the lesson isn't learned. What does that mean? Well, it means you still have an unforgiveness or a misperception hiding in your mind. And you're seeing the pain that your eyes are seeing as your eyes are being directed by your mind. So your mind directs your eyes to see the pain that reflects your unforgiveness. God would not have you suffer this way. Your Creator wants you to forgive yourself, which is to correctly perceive yourself as the loving, lovable, love being that you are. You don't remember who you are. If I say I'm Earl Purdy, just this body that lives a few years and then is out of here, I don't know who I am as a child of God. Now, what's really cool, do you want to hear something cool? Yeah. Is your Creator would not have you forget its love. That which created us doesn't want us to forget that we're free and loved. That's why we're sitting here. Think about this for a minute. This, what you're hearing me say, is not usually what you hear on Channel 9 News. Is that true? And what you're hearing me say is not usually what you hear your friends and relatives and co-workers say. Is that not true? Then why did it come into your life? Why are you listening to ways of looking at things that are radically different from everything you've been taught? There's something else making you aware beyond the world. Or you wouldn't be hearing this. And so it's saying your Creator doesn't want you to forget who you really are. So your Creator doesn't want you to forget that you're loved. And your Creator doesn't want you to forget all the cool gifts that come with your Creator's love. So, would you renounce your own healing? Do you want to renounce your own happiness? Do you want to fail to learn the simple lessons that your teacher is setting before you right now? Don't you want all your pain to disappear?
Yes.
Woo! This is so deep. This is so, I'm not going to rush this. Because all it would take is you to remember one thing I said today to completely change the rest of your life. And I was looking at this, oh, I got to get through this. No, I don't have to rush through any of this. I'm going to put that pressure on myself. Because you've heard enough today to change your life if you want to. Yes. Already. So let's hear what it's saying. There are simple lessons that you can receive that will cause your pain to disappear forever. All things are lessons that your Creator wants you to learn. Your Creator does not want to leave one unforgiving thought in your mind that's not corrected. Doesn't want to leave one thorn, one nail, nothing to hurt you. Love doesn't want anything to hurt you. Somebody that loves you does not want anything to hurt you. So somebody that loves you would never consciously hurt you. Now, what is it that our Creator wants for us? The Course in Miracles says, well, your Creator wants your holy rest to remain untroubled and serene. Love wants you to remain without a care. I'll tell you again. Your Creator wants you to remain without a care. It says your Creator wants you to have an eternal home that cares for you. Why is it so important to hear that? If my thought creates my reality, then I need new thoughts introduced to my mind so that I can start to let those thoughts manifest in my experience the way I've let the fearful thoughts manifest in my experience in the past. If my experience is coming from my beliefs, I need new beliefs. Because the world is a three-dimensional projection of your consciousness. It's just like you're looking at a movie screen. And you know as well as I do, if when you're in a movie theater and you're watching a movie, for a while you suspend your memory of everything that's happening outside the movie theater. You forget everything about your personal life. You're caring about the characters on the screen. You're caught up into what's going on with your hero. And the truth is, none of it is true. And you know, if you wanted to change what was happening on the screen, you wouldn't go up to the screen and try to change it. You've never been sitting in a movie theater and watch anybody in the theater jump up and run up to the screen and start trying to change what's going on. Right? That's what you're doing every time you go out to change anything before you go in to change it. You'll never change your relationships by thinking your relationships are not connected to your own thinking. You'll never change your financial situation as long as you think your financial situation isn't an extension of your own thinking. You won't change anything in the outer if you think you're unconnected to it. So we all know if you want to see a different movie, you got to put a new film in the projector. This is the new film for your projector. But the part of you that loves the old movie, the part of you that knows what the next person is going to say in the movie because you watched it so many times, that part of you doesn't want a new movie. So it's not going to change the film that's in the projector, which would be analogous to you not doing your spiritual practice. So you can keep the same old movie going, boning and bitching every bit of the way. Conscious beings will let you do that. They will let you continue to complain. They will let you continue to keep your pattern going in honor of your freedom. Because they know you deserve to live your life the way you want to live it. That is so deep. So a conscious being isn't trying to change you. A conscious being is not trying to correct you all the time. Because a conscious being knows you have God in you just as much as they have God in them. The conscious being knows you will go through your awakening process at the speed that's best for you, that your own internal guide is conducting. So they will just remember that you're this unlimited loving being that deserves love, even while you're torturing yourself every day. And if there's something that for them to do to help you, they'll say stuff like, if I can support you in any way, I'm willing to do that. and then they let it go. And leave it up to you to choose to avail yourself of their assistance or not. That's what a conscious being would do. I would say to you, would you like to hear another way of looking at that? No! Okay, and then you go, okay. Okay, what's up with the movies? You would not spend one more moment trying to convince them of the error of their perception out of your respect for their power. See, a conscious being operates totally different from an unconscious being. Unconscious beings like to put the focus on everything and everybody outside of themselves to draw attention away from their own thinking that needs to be corrected. So they're busybodies about everybody else's life. That's one thing I love about Colorado as opposed to growing up to that part of my mind that was in the South where I grew up. In the South, it's a different kind of culture where people tend to feel like they have the right to interfere with the way you live without you saying anything. They'll just walk up to you and go, you know, I don't like who you with. It's a whole different kind of culture. Up here, people tend to just let you pretty much go over the cliff on your own, and they don't get involved. They respect your freedom, you know. I love it up here, but I love it down there. So remember this, you all. It says, your Creator would have all tears be wiped away, so that you don't have anything else to cry about. Your Creator loves you so much, He wants to have everything that bothers you removed from your life so that you not only are not crying, you're not going to even cry about something in the future that you're upset about. It says your Creator wants laughter to replace everything that's making you cry. Everything that's making you unhappy, your Creator wants to be replaced with happiness. Hear these new ideas. So that you will be free again. So why am I going through this? So I will be free again. So we're going to continue with this. This is powerful. Let's acknowledge ourselves for hearing this much Holy Spirit. Come on. I want to acknowledge you for being so present. Woo! Happy Valentine's. You are my Valentine. I love all of y'all. And everybody that I don't love in here, I want to. I either love you or want to love you. Those are the only two ways I feel about people. I love you, I sure would like to. That's cool. So I'm going to do a quick little recap before we walk out. Let's do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you for sharing with me in my full-time teaching ministry. Those of you that are watching online, you all are awesome. I hope you've been interacting with each other and also realizing you are part of this gathering. And if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, just go to my website, Earl Purdy, earlpurdy.com, so I can really, really, really continue to eat. So now, while I think I'm a body, one day the Course says when you get to the point you're doing this correctly, it actually says when you really get to the point that you're doing this correctly, it makes the radical statement of saying you won't need food, you won't need drink, and you won't age. That's because I don't look at, I look like I'm 2,000 years old. Okay. I say that again. When you actually get this, the way it's saying that you are going to get this, you may eat food for the pleasure of it, but you won't need it. You will not age and you will not be sick because your body is only reflecting your consciousness. When your mind is innocent, there is no reason for your body to suffer. That's deep. The Course in Miracles says the reason why people aren't really committed to their path and do what they said they're going to do as far as their practice, do you know why it says that people don't? It says you don't believe you're worth the effort. That my own lack of self-esteem for myself says to me, Earl, you're not worth doing the simple things it would take for you to have a happy life. you really believe you're sinful and guilty and that you need to suffer and be punished through suffering, and you think through your suffering you're going to be absolved of your guilt and you'll finally be okay and you can have a happy life. So a person that's decided to punish themselves does not like to hear any solution that lets them off the hook. Because they've already decided that their way to salvation is through hurt and pain for themselves. So they don't give themselves loving relationships, they don't give themselves prosperity, they don't give themselves joy, they give themselves jobs that mean nothing to them, that they don't enjoy, and they complain all the time. But they don't realize that they're doing that as part of their self-punishment to absolve them of the unconscious guilt and lack of love that they have for themselves. And so they choose people who put them down, who don't appreciate them, who don't acknowledge them. And I've been that way. But no more. No more. So I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to see you correctly, so that any pain that I could go through with any of you would disappear. Forgive, and this will disappear. I will forgive, and what's hurting me will disappear. Now,
I just so wanted to say, I need to also say, I will forgive myself.
yes,
I tend to leave me out of that little equation.
yes, by all means, include yourself. You know, by all means, include yourself. That which is saying, I will correctly perceive myself, and this pain will disappear. And I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions to help you get past your blocks. And there is a divine plan for your life. You weren't just dropped on the planet. And I have a knowledge of astrology and numerology at a higher spiritual level. That's the whole purpose of it, is to get you in touch with the blueprint you came up with for your happiness. Spirit wants to reach you in all kinds of ways if you're open to it. So my website has all of my services that I provide, including mentoring. For those of you who really want to get sincere about this and hook up with a guy that's spent 35 years working on it to save yourself some time, then look at the mentoring aspect of it and schedule one of those sessions with me. Become sincere about your desire for your peace and happiness, so that your pain can disappear. So I'm going to ask you to do something. Also, I do another class Tuesday night at 7 o'clock called The Way of Mastery. 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time is also live streamed on Facebook. And then I do another class from my home that's called A Course of Love. That's off the chain. It's 7 o'clock on Thursdays, Mountain Standard Time. So what am I saying? I love you because you are me. My one to be loving to you is my one to be loving to myself. So any way I can be a conduit for light and love in your life, that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm on the planet. And my ego is just like yours. It doesn't want to give me any slack sometimes either. The only difference between you and me may be because of the length of time that I've been doing this, I will go to these solutions quicker than you will. Where you still may be trying to figure it out. That's okay. You innocent. You innocent. Ain't no lies in it. Ain't no lies in it. Ain't no lies in it. Y'all busy, ain't no lies in it. So I'm going to do this today. This is going to be a test on Valentine's weekend. Would you, without stretching, would you hold the hands of the person next to you? Don't want you to be uncomfortable. I've seen people look horrible when doing this stuff. Please go to my website and sign up for my contact list so that I can let you know when I'm doing classes and workshops, which I will be doing in the spring, very advanced. So just go to my website and sign up so you'll know. Are you comfortable? And every now and then I like you to look at each other. Listen to that and feel it. give their hand a little squeeze. And look at them in the eyes. It's pure torture, isn't it? On the deepest level, isn't it? I mean, I can't get it joined, but not really joined. You know the words? Let's sing it.
All you got to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend.
Okay, look at each other. Wish I could see y'all's expressions. They go. That's what the dudes say. They're like, what about them Broncos, man? Okay, we're going back again. Y'all ready? Here we go. A little bit louder, even if you're out of key. Just call the name. Say what?
See you again.
I think it's right now. There you go. Winter, spring, summer, fall. All you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah. You got a friend. Hey. To know that you
This is a hard version.
people can be so cruel.
When they're misperceiving.
They'll hurt you.
When they're misperceiving. When they're misperceiving.
Take your soul if you let
If they're misperceiving.
go, yeah.
And if you misperceive, but don't you let them. Guess what?
You just
Call out my name. Say what? And you know wherever I am, I'll come to see you again. Now pretend you like it. It's just spring, summer, fall. Now look at that person and give them a smile. I'm never coming back, ever. He went over the line today. Say what?
you've got a friend.
You got a friend. Oh, give it up, y'all. Isn't that great? Oh, I tell you what, I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for coming out today. And hugs are available. I love hugs. And here's some cool people. Is that right?
That's right.
Isn't that right? Yes. I will forgive. And I will see things differently. If I forgive, I will see things differently, including my mama, daddy, my faith, my friend, my co-workers, my boss, the world, the president. Hugs out, brothers. I love y'all. Thanks for coming so much. Awesome. Awesome. right behind you. Come on. Right in my face.